In the last episode with the 1957, we got it home and we got it running, but it's not good. Hopefully in this episode we're going to change that because we're going to modernize this thing with a new ignition, PCV conversion, alternator, hopefully fixing the AC, hopefully fixing the steering. Am I missing anything? Probably, but...
barrel?
No, not in this episode.
Oh.
But maybe soon.
Oh.
Wink wonk. So we spent the whole morning trying to get the last two parts to make all the first part of that happen, but I have them now, so now it's time to get started.
And make it gooder.
And make it more good. Make
Gooder.
Make Fairlane more gooder again. So what I have done already is very little. I took off the air cleaner and I took off the cap. Very, very difficult activities, but I did discover that this this distributor has mechanical advance. Some of them didn't, and those ones are doo-doo. But this one does. This one do have mechanical advance.
It's less doo-doo.
So that's good. We're going to put a Protronics ignition in there to get rid of the points. I know there's a lot of people who are like, but Jake, points have been fine for this long. No, they haven't. They've required adjustment every 6,000 miles, and they're annoying to get to. So we're going to put a Protronics in there and then just not worry about it anymore. Over here, this valve cover is going to get a hole drilled in it and a PCV put in. We got a PCV valve and baffled grommet and whatnot, and that is going to go to a fitting that'll go in that there bung thing.
Either that or we're deleting the fuel pump and you have a fitting that there.
Yeah, but that also runs the wipers.
Oh.
And then I've got a fuel pump block-off plate that I think is the right size to actually block off the road draft tube down there. Not sure, but we're gonna hope so. And then I have a one-wire alternator to install in place of the generator, which yet again, but Jake, the generator's been fine for 4 years. Well, no, it hasn't, because the regulator keeps needing adjustment. Regulators go bad. They're not all that and it's reliable, efficient, or dependable.
And it's also doo-doo.
Yeah, I mean, that regulator's definitely been replaced at least once already, and the points have been replaced several times already, so this isn't good technology. That's why we're getting rid of it. That's why it's not still in use. Rant over.
Okay, boomer.
Let's see, my hope is that the new ignition will fix the random misses that we have at idle, but also we haven't actually adjusted valve lash, and we haven't actually tuned the carburetor at all, so... could be anything.
I'll go get my typewriter.
Yeah, we're just gonna throw parts at it first because they're parts that I want to replace anyway. And once we know that the points aren't a problem anymore and the charging system's not a problem anymore, and well, the PCV is more just to keep this thing from smoking at intersections when I pull up. But once we know all that's done, then we can start actually diagnosing things, I suppose.
Tuning.
Yeah.
So at this point, the lock-off plate is there. It is. Lock-off plate is on. The voltage regulator is out. The vacuum fitting for the PCV is on, and the alternator is, or the generator is out. Over here, with its associated wiring, very crusty. Looks like it's been at the bottom of the ocean. Whole bunch of goofy brackets for the AC. There's our old road draft tube and our voltage regulator. Those sure are a thing that exist. And then back here we have our new alternator, which is chrome. Very fancy GM one wire style alternator, and this bracket from Speedway Motors. Hopefully with those things combined, we will have charging without sparky noises. So with our PCV fitting, we're going to run a vacuum line around the engine to over here, the opposite corner of the engine from where the air is going to be intaked from, which is the breather there. So I need to put this grommet in the valve cover. Only issue is I don't have anything that can drill a hole that big, so I'm going to deal with that by ignoring that problem entirely and doing something else for a few minutes, which is that. Now, I know this isn't a sports car, but that is a difficult to manage amount of steering lash. So I've already broken loose the nut there on the sector adjustment screw and just grab a flathead and I think if we run it in, turn it clockwise, it should take up some of that lash. Okay, it tightened up, so maybe that's a good thing. I can't tell if that's less or not. I think our sector adjustment is pretty much bottomed out, and we went from, I don't know, half a turn to a quarter turn of play, so that'll at least be slightly less miserable to actually keep the car in my lane when I'm going down the road. So I guess I'm okay with it for now, but ultimately that box needs rebuilt. And Tyler's trying to puzzle out the completely incomprehensible bracket for the generator or alternator conversion that doesn't come with instructions.
And
because why would it?
well, yeah, but also I'm concerned that the AC compressor is not going to work
Oh,
in this configuration.
hi.
I was using power tools.
Oh no.
Yeah, since your new alternator bracket has a spacer here, I just
instinctively scratched my nose with what was in my hand, and I'm really glad that I chose the dull end of the X-Acto knife.
yikes. Anyway, yeah, I just knocked the spacer off here because there's a spacer on the bracket.
Now you just cut it off with the X-Acto knife.
And Josh is here.
Sick.
And Emily.
I am preparing to drill the hole for the PCV in our valve cover here. I bought an $80 step drill bit because I need 1 1/4 inch hole for a baffled PCV grommet. And I was going to put it here so that it was in the opposite corner from the inlet there, but if I do that, then we've got all kinds of clearance issues. So instead I'm going right about here with it so I can kind of snake it around this vacuum line. Yeah, right about there. That ought to do the trick. So I'm gonna make a little scribe mark with Mr. X-Acto knife here, get that hole drilled, get that grommet smashed in there, and poke our valve cover back on. Run a line. I'll probably go around the carburetor to keep the bend radius to a minimum, and hey, Bob's your uncle. We have ourselves a PCV system. And then I can move on to the ignition.
Blind you?
Yeah.
Imagine your forehead hitting that at 50 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, the safety package for this was lap belts and a padded dash.
Where's the padded dash?
This didn't have the safety package. The safety package also includes reversing lights. Ooh. And I think four-way.
Not dying is a luxury.
I think four-way hazard flashers too.
This doesn't even have reverse lights.
These weren't standard.
All right, well, PCV goes around.
Hey, you know what?
That's hooked up good. Now it's time to get started on the Pertronics. We've got our points ignition here. I had to unhook some of my wires because, well, whoever put these on kind of cut them too short. Probably just a generic set, and they're just too short, period. So there's a couple flatheads there for the points themselves and one for the condenser. That's all going to come out. I already got the negative wire off. The Pertronics has 2 wires that are going to go on both terminals of the coil, and then it should be pretty close to ready to rock and roll.
See him crawling down by the box?
Well, there's the points. Good riddance for now, I suppose. And there is the Pertronics. It comes with a little plastic feeler gauge that you use to set the distance, and now I can just stick ye old rotor in, put the cap back on, and then wire these up. And then it should be ready to go.
once we get the alternator rest of the way. It's kind of not on there yet. What are you doing? Well, there we go. The cap's on, everything's wired up, and I measured the resistance across the coil, and it met the requirements. It was 2.7 ohms, so we were able to get rid of this resistor, which was just kind of flopping around in here. So that's one less ugly thing in the engine bay, replaced by all this ugly wiring that I'm going to try and tuck down so it won't be visible. Uh-oh. Oh, that's the coil wire. That would probably help if I hooked that up, you know?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. That should all be pretty well hidden underneath the filter. Yep, and there it goes. And Tyler is still doing epic battle with the alternator conversion.
I don't want to talk about it.
We've actually gone backwards. The alternator is no longer in the car.
Dog has given up.
It's now on the ground again. Yep, dog. Say hi, Doge. Not a single thought going on there, huh? Just not a single one. Nah, I need them.
Jake spent more money.
Yeah, go figure. Receipts in the bag. Thanks for coming to McDonald's.
All right. Well, after hours of fighting and lots of precision machined spacers and some other assorted hardware, the alternator's in. And Jake has taken care of all of whatever wiring over there. And I somehow managed to cobble it together and figure out how to get the AC bracket to work, which is why I need all of the precision machined spacers.
Yeah, that's been the fun part with this Sears installed. Well, actually, no. Sears had nothing to do with that compressor, because that's a Sandin it would have had York. So whomstever put this Sandin in here just kind of used
Whatever.
Well,
hardware.
basically what I do, yeah, they just dipped into their bag of hardware and used whatever bolts they found first. And it shows. And this is truly a one-wire alternator. Tyler, grab the wire. There's the wire.
One wire.
One
This
wire.
is the other side of this is connected to the back of the alternator,
And
and
that's just-
we're just gonna loop it and stick it right there on the solenoid. Should be fine.
Yep. I have a new hood latch cable, but I don't understand how all this works. So more research needed.
I also figured out the confusing bracket
Yay.
over here, so that's cool.
And I found a flasher relay under the dash, but I haven't been able to test it because the battery's not hooked up. So hopefully that flasher relay is just bad. It's just a generic 2-wire thing. And then we'll have turn signals.
Hooray.
It's almost going to be like a real car or something. Turn signals and everything. Wow. I want to take this to the drive-in, but they don't have speakers at the drive-in anymore. You have to use your car's radio.
Yeah.
So I need to have something working in order to do that.
And a spare charged 12-volt battery.
Yeah, jump pack for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that radio is like 5 watts, Michael. What could it cost?
How many watts could
How
it
many
be?
watts could it cost, Michael? It's a radio.
Something like that.
Well, that's quite the pile of old parts that we have eliminated from this beast, but it is pretty much time to start her up. The alternator is wired in, even hooked back up the AC compressor clutch in case it... we were starting to charge it, and then it started slipping on the belt immediately, but the belt was super loose, so maybe the belt will actually turn the compressor now. Yeah. And maybe...
turn the engine over with...
Yeah, not quite. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and secure
Just
that.
for safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll actually feel a little something from the AC if we turn it on with a half charge that it's got in it.
Wish I could feel something.
I know. New Petronics ignition. Timing is not set, so who knows what's going on with any of that. And with our PCV, that does introduce a controlled vacuum leak, so we will have to do the old head thing and use a flathead screwdriver and do some tuning. There's the mixture screw right there. Actually, I think there's 2 of them. So, do some fiddling with that, get the idle right. But first, I just want to see if it starts. Nice! Wow, that is easy starting now. Wow, that runs way better.
I kicked your AC on.
Oh yeah. What was that? What was that?
It was running,
Okay.
but it probably needs, I didn't want to run it too much since it's undercharged and might actually need oil.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, it would never.
Yeah. Watch your fingers.
No more random misses. It's not the smoothest thing ever, but it's not like da 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 da.
The valve train doesn't even.
We did remember to put coolant in it.
After we ran it for a while. Eventually we remembered. So, yeah.
Quick trip around the block, here we go.
Runs good. It's perfect.
Also, idles and drive way better.
Blip, 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 blip.
Yeah, and it's got a nice even idle too.
How's the steering feel? Any better?
Not really. This thing just needs a new rebuilt box. I'm sure there's a place where I can have one come to me, and then I'll send this one back or what have you. I'm sure they're probably not hurting for cores.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not terribly expensive to have done either.
No.
Actually feels like it has power now.
Yeah,
That's weird.
it does feel way happier though. Like in general, this thing feels. Oh yeah, it has throttle response now. Wild.
It's almost better than the M2.
It's so smooth.
It
Wow. Those those points were pooched.
Yeah.
Turning right. Eventually. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's the lane somewhere. Alright, what you do? Not a lot.
Is that foot on the floor?
Yes.
Real drag racer.
Yeah, look out. No cloud of smoke following us.
That's good. Nothing coming out from under the car
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, no. The first few stop signs or stoplights were brutal in this before. Just a cloud of smoke coming out. But,
I remember.
look at that. Absolutely nothing. The cool weather here in Kansas did not last long. It's hot out again, so we're gonna fix the AC and a lot of other things. I got quite a few parts here in the trunk. We've got AC compressor, water pump, motor mount, trans mount, a whole bunch of push rods, and that's it for now. I actually have a whole bunch of other parts that were supposed to be here, but they got delayed. Go figure. Thank you, FedEx or whomever. So I think we're gonna start with the water pump and the air conditioning because the engine's way too hot to go taking the valve covers off and taking the spark plugs out. We're also gonna do a compression test just because I'm curious. These are pretty low compression engines anyway. I think I think the dynamic compression rate is supposed to be only something like 110 psi or 90. It's pretty low, but the important part is if it's even across all the cylinders, which I think it will be. I don't think there's really any problem there, and this is going to give us an opportunity to actually do a full valve adjustment as well. So this thing should be real nice and healthy by the end of the day, and cool, hopefully. Also, I should probably check the trans fluid. I've literally never even taken a glance at the trans fluid in this car.
Hi. Hello. Is that the 0.5? So we're going to drain the cooling system, pull the water pump, pull the AC compressor, replace both of those things. Ed is off on a mission to find R12 compatible compressor oil. And yeah.
Yep, and I'm fighting with fan bolts. It's real fun.
I'm gonna play with your peacock here for a second.
Oh, heck yeah.
And drain out all of the water. And we're draining it onto the floor because
it's water.
Yeah, because it's water, and we have a thing down there. So when we fill it with coolant, I mean, if we had to drain coolant, we'd also drain it into the thing because, well, it's pumped out. It's a capture tank. And that makes familiar noises. I should call her.
There we go.
Yeah, it's just residue. Like you filled it with water. What do you expect? It's cast iron. Everything is cast iron. The water's coming out actually
pretty clean.
Surprisingly clean.
Yep.
Nothing is leaking. So we're just gonna leave it at that and fill it with coolant. So.
Yep.
That was a good test.
I'm back to a quarter turn at a time on these damn fan bolts. Well, front of the engine is looking pretty empty, and here's the old water pump. It is
disgusting.
It's a crusty boy, all right. And so I got all of the
I'm glad you finally listened to me, Jake.
I got all the little bits and bobs moved over, and then Tyler got the AC compressor out, and I wish I was filming because he held it over his head triumphantly and just doused himself in all of the remaining oil.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious that I'm wearing a different shirt now.
No, it's just tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Same pants,
morning.
Different shirt.
Yeah,
How's a Chevy Volt make that noise?
Regen gopher.
Yeah, so I hate this fan. I'm just like, oh boy, Tyler's brain is working at the speed of light today. Yeah, it turns out R12 compatible oil is just mineral oil. Also, I R&R'd the heater blower motor, so that shouldn't rattle around anymore. It just remove a grub screw, pull this off, tighten the bolts behind there. So the oil goes in there?
Yeah.
Oh, I figured you just dump it in the low side.
No. It smells like baby.
It do smell like baby.
It smells like.
Can't imagine why.
It smells like P. Diddy's.
Is this made from real babies?
So this should be exactly the same as the old one. Yeah, it just fits right there. Sits on 3 mounting points.
Some amount of mounts.
Yeah. And we have mixed hardware. Like, none of these are the same as far as size and thread pitch. I think that one's 14. The rest are 13, but they're all different thread pitch. Because that's what we had to do. So.
Nasty old 50s engine heads. Gotta love them.
I love head.
On the plus side, all these plugs look pretty good. They look like the mixture's been okay. Looks like it's a little bit richer as we go forward. I'm sure that has something to do with the intake manifold design. Or the valve adjustment, who knows. And you can see there the one valve that we replaced to get this thing running initially.
Yeah, so my suspicion is that your compression is fine, but like your valve timing or your valve lash adjustment is wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure it hasn't been done on this car for ages.
It starts so easy.
Yeah.
So I can't really be convinced that you have an inherent problem with the engine itself, but we'll see.
It's super awesome. Happy pushrod time. We got a whole bunch of Melling MPR 73s. As you can see, these are significantly girthier and kind of an improved design over the original.
Why are
gosh, these aren't even like, oh, this one's bent. Look at this.
Yeah,
at the very top.
we established that.
Nope, you never took this one out.
Oh.
You took this one. It was this one.
Oh, we spun all of them, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what Y blocks do. So cool.
Probably.
It sure do be that. So we'll just get the new one down in there, and I'll have to fight that a bit. The ones on the ends kind of suck because the whole rocker assembly doesn't slide over like the others. So I assume that I'm doing this right by just running the adjuster out until I can wiggle it in or something. How much do you love this fan arrangement, Ed?
I had surgery in my hand, so I can't really feel it.
It's a strong hand.
It's my strong hand.
Cool. We're getting close. We took the clamp off the fuel line. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I took that off.
This exposed wire going in.
That's fine, probably. Yeah, that funnel is kind of baller AF. Except you're somehow still missing? Question mark?
Oh, because your hood sucks.
Glove. Shiny parts, we didn't do a compression check or anything because honestly it's too late. We're all tired, we're all upset at each other mostly.
Increasingly shiny parts.
This one has hiccups. Okay. I'm not even gonna get in the car. I'm not touching the gas. We're just starting. It'd help if the camera was pointed correctly. Ready?
I love you, Ed.
Tyler!
Hey,
We didn't break it.
I know.
All right, we're doing the thing with the Hank Hill special.
Those are all propane accessories.
Those are the whole car is a propane accessory if you think about it. Ooh, it's getting cooler. I'm not sure how much to expect from a...
I was gonna say, you may be expecting a lot from a system from the 50.
Honestly, that's not bad.
Bring up the RPMs. I'm gonna juice it just a little bit more.
I like it when you juice it.
Dang, that's cold.
Yeah, it's like decent.
That's tolerable.
Yeah, now we need to get it to not hopefully sling the belt everywhere. I gotta say, it's kind of weird driving this thing with functional AC. This is kind of an unheard of level of comfort for a car like this. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, though I do think we boogered something up a little bit. The engine doesn't seem to be quite as smooth as it was before, but it does seem to have a tiny bit more power. I hate setting valve lash on anything, but a V8 is extra annoying, especially with how hard this one was to spin over for whatever reason. So once we got home last night, I was advised and decided that I really shouldn't drive this without being absolutely sure that we don't have a valve hanging open, because these cars don't have valve seats because they're from the era of leaded gas and they'll burn valves really, really easily. And I don't want that. So we're going through, girlfriend's helping, she's behind the camera right now, but we're doing another valve adjustment on this, but this time we're doing it correctly. We've got long ratcheting, well, ratchet on the crank nut, which is the same size as the spark plugs, which is very handy. We've got all the spark plugs out. That spark plug was only finger tight, so that might have been the entirety of our misfire or soft cylinder, but we're just going to go through and do this anyway. Find top dead center on number 1, which is the front one on the passenger side here. I just stuck a, I just had her rotate the engine over, waited until the valves were both loose, and then poked a screwdriver in there to see if that was when it was a top dead or not. And then we went back and forth a while till I found where top dead really was. We made 4 marks on the crank at 12, 6, 3, and 9. These engines fire every 90 degrees. So that means that then I can adjust cylinder 1. She rotates the engine 45 or 90 degrees to the next mark. And then I go through the cylinder on this. The cylinders on this are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the firing order is 1, 5, 4, 8, 6, 3, 7, 2. So I just follow that firing order. We're about to do number 3 now. It feels like it's pretty close, so I am going to go 90 degrees tight on here to see how close it is, and I'll explain why that is in a second. So 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and then I will check to see how easily the push rods spin. Pretty easily. I'm just going to continue tightening until the push rods, there we go, until the push rods just bind up a little bit. And so we were pretty close on that one. Reasonably close on that one. So once I have these to the point where the push rods are, oh, that one's a little bit too tight. I'm probably being more precise than this car actually deserves, but this is the method that everyone said was the best for high mileage Y blocks like this, because the underside of the rocker will actually get wallowed out by the top of the valve retainer, and then feeler gauges don't really work anymore. So now that I've got these to the point where I can spin them, but there's definitely some drag, I then take my ratchet. I'm going to put it in line with the engine. This is a really sloppy ratchet, Harbor Freight. And I'm going to go 90 degrees loosen. And I'm going to go 90 degrees loosen. And that's the spec. Depending on which rockers you have, high ratio or low ratio, that's going to be slightly different. But honestly, on an engine this old where you're not chasing peak performance, you're going to get it close enough no matter what, really. It's just a matter of making sure that they're not too tight and, like I said, burning a valve or a valve seat or what have you. So now we're going to spin the engine another 90 degrees and do the last 3. So the exhaust valve on number 2, it had no lash when we rolled over to the flat, so that definitely could have burned a valve if we kept driving the car on it. But now I think everything is good to go. I think we're just going to go through and do a wiggle test on all of these just to make sure that none of them are tight when they're on the flats, and then we reassemble the engine and away we go. I already put it in, but I got a new fuel sending unit. This one didn't have a sunk float like I expected, though it was plastic, but she's pretty crusty. Pretty disgusting. New one also had a brass float, which I don't know, kind of gives me more of the good vibes, I suppose. I also got a door handle off eBay and stuck it here in the back, so now all 4 doors have functional door handles. How about that? The luxuries never cease. Unfortunately, we forgot to replace the O-rings in the suction and pressure ports on the air conditioning, and I noticed some bubbling, so I'm guessing we don't have AC anymore, but we can fix that tomorrow. pretty easily, but for now, let's see if we are back to smooth running. Not incredibly smooth, but at least we know that it's good. It's definitely not as clattery as everyone makes these engines out to be, so that's kind of a little disturbing. A rather crusty Edelbrock 650, 750? I don't know. Has been acquired. It's got 4 of them barrels, so that's nice. But in order to fit it, I need an adapter plate and a 4 barrel intake manifold, which I have. Here's the adapter plate. Unfortunately, what I don't have is a base gasket. I did just spend forever attempting to port this so that the adapter plate actually, I will get that alignment right on the first try one of these times. Here we go. Yeah, it sort of flows. I mean, it flows good enough for the like 140 horsepower this car makes. And then we can get this Edelbrock, which has been rebuilt. It just sat on my shop floor for a while and got kind of crusty, so I'll need to give that a cleaning. But motor mounts are on. What else did I do? Motor mounts, a new oil switch. A lot less than I thought. But everything up here was disassembled, and yeah, honestly, it looks pretty good inside for one of these. Seems like these always have horrific amounts of sludge in them. And also it gave me a chance to retrieve the push rod that was just lost down in the valley. But now I gotta clean all this out and put the valley cover back on, and that's gonna be fun, I'm sure. Got a new valley cover gasket, it's cork. Gonna clean up the valley cover itself, re-gasket, put it on. What else are we looking at here? Oh, there's the Dizzy drive. It also drives the oil pump. Here's the push rod we pulled out. Wow, amazing. It's like a push rod, and I like how every single bolt that holds the intake manifold on is a different length. So that part's fun too. Oh, I have to scrape. Ugh. Love this thing. Wouldn't run a detailing company out of it, but man, is it useful. Way too much time later, the intake manifold is on and bolted down, and I only lost one bolt. It's that one for the throttle linkage over there. I think I have a box of those, what are these, like quarter 20? Yeah, I think I have a box of them at home, so I need to find that box. New thermostat, or actually the same thermostat is back in because I couldn't find a thermostat at the parts store from a quality brand, and hey, that one works, so leave it there instead of going with an unknown. And yeah, the only other thing I'm gonna have to figure out is this is missing the vacuum port on the back that the other intake manifold had, which was going to whatever it is in the fuel pump that then drives the wipers. I have no idea what that's about, so I'll need to do something there. So I guess the next step is to get this thing back in the air and I guess do the oil pump or take the speedometer out of the dash, which is like 2 screws, and poke the new cable up to it. Well, there's a carburetor on here now. I kind of had to cut my own base gasket to make it fit. Got it bolted down, got some vacuum lines capped off, got some vacuum lines adapted, got all the vacuum stuff hooked up, fuel's hooked up. Only thing it's not hooked up is the throttle, because we need to go from here back to here. And I'm not sure how to make that happen. Oh gosh, it's gotta go in like, it's gotta be offset in like 2 different dimensions. I just don't know. Where did I put the keys? Oh, they're there. They're in the trunk lid. Now they're in the ignition. The hell was that?
That is the fan rubbing the tank of the radiator. Probably because it has new motor.
New motor mounts. The shift of the engine's position means that there is not enough room to get the bolts out of the water pump to take the spacer out of the fan. Because for whatever reason, there's two spacers in play. So, guess I'm gonna cut the bolts. This is real fun. Well, hopefully the radiator still holds pressure. Ended up hacksawing through the whole freaking thing. So I need to go get some new, shorter, I guess, bolts tomorrow. This might be difficult to see, but the oil pump is off. And it is full of what I can only describe as mud. Let's see. Yeah. That's the, I believe that's what they call the good stuff right there. Annoyingly, we don't have a parts cleaner, so I need to figure out a better way to evict that horror. I did find my leak, though. This O-ring, which I figured was probably flattened anyway. It is a square profile O-ring, so it's supposed to be a little flat, but it was broken right where the oil was coming from. So, you know, there's your smoking gun. This is a Georotor style oil pump. There were two different oil pumps that came in these engines, either Georotor or a spur gear style. This being the former. And yeah, I've got a rebuild kit over here somewhere. Yep, Melling rebuild kit comes with a bunch of parts I don't recognize and some that I do. There's what that O-ring is supposed to look like. There's also a spring thing for some reason. And then the base gasket. So I'll need to scrape the rest of the gasket off of the engine, of course, which is always fun. And then find a way to clean this thing out enough to put it back together. Good Lord. What a horror show. I'm guessing the spring goes in, this looks like some sort of pressure regulating piston right here, so I'm guessing it goes in there. Let's check the Georotor here, see if there's any wear on it. A little bit of grooving. I can actually feel it through my gloves. Those will get new. What's the inside of the cover look like? This oil is awful. Inside of the cover looks fine, mostly. Doesn't look like it has any gouging or anything in it, at least nothing I can feel through all this oil coating it, but yeah, no massive red flags. Just throw new parts in it and it should be good. Adding a choke cable to the Edelbrock so I can put the air cleaner on and call this a wrap. Mildly annoyed that I have to do the whole manual choke cable thing. I really liked the auto choke on that 2-barrel, but yeah, whatever. If this is the only compromise that has to be made, it's worth it to me because this thing runs so much better with the 4-barrel on here. Finally approaching the end of the road with this thing, we are down to just having the small things left to do. Fit the air cleaner. Well, before we fit the air cleaner, timing and do some tuning of the mixture. About to charge up the AC. We're charging with propane for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's cheap. Second of all, propane has a refrigerant form called R290, which is effectively propane with a little bit of kerosene in it. And the third reason is that propane molecules are roughly the same size as R12 modules, which means that its characteristics as a refrigerant are pretty much the same. That's important for a few reasons. First of which, this is not barrier hose. R12 hose does not have the plastic inner liner that R134A hose has, which means that if I put R131-4A in here, it would probably just leak out through the rubber of the hose itself. Also, the single pass condenser in cars like this is just suited to R12, not R134A, so we would see pretty pathetic performance with 134A in here, and I don't have high hopes for the performance of that tiny Vornado unit as it is. It needs all the hope it can get, so propane it is. If you're worried about it exploding, might I direct you to the fuel tank in the back of the car and the fuel lines that run the full length of it. Anyway, we're going to charge her up and go from there. Hopefully we can have this thing pretty much done today. Good news, I hooked up the gauges and we still have vacuum. We don't have as much, and this is after I accidentally let a bunch of the vacuum out because this was open when I hooked up the gauges. So now we get to vacuum again and then fill, but it should hold a charge. So that's good news. Well, extremely unfortunately, air conditioning is not going to happen today. That crimp there refuses to seal, so I think the hose is done. Unfortunately, the other end of that hose, we got to take the hood off to get to, and then figure out what to order. So that will have to happen another day, but for now, we can at least set timing. I got the timing light all set up, and we've got a vacuum gauge around here somewhere to get the carb dialed in, and then we can take this thing for a drive at least. It'll be a hot drive, but, you know, better than nothing. Too cold for it. A little over, oh god, that's hot. A little over 19. Give that about 6 hours to cool down so I can tighten the distributor back down and we can drive it. Well, got her to make about 20 inches of vacuum, got the timing fiddled with a little bit, got the fueling fiddled with a little bit. I think we're good to drive this thing as soon as emergency services. Yep, there they go. Not bad. Does not do a burnout though. How unfortunate. You think that's 20? Speedometer's working, says 20. I don't know if that's 20 or not. I guess if we get out on the road here, we can pace someone and see if, well, they're all probably doing 70 in a 40 because that's how this road works. Let's see if it's got any more ass than it did before. Not really. Well, kind of. There's your speed. 45. 45. Oh my gosh, it's perfect! No way! So whatever gear I put in there, oh my gosh, that is astonishing. If I could keep it between the lines on the road, today would be a great day. So this is a 70-year-old car with all the gauges functional. That's crazy talk. Look at that. Functioning fuel sending unit. There's Daniel. Finally getting to drive this thing home and list it for sale after a bit of cleanup. And hopefully I can find a store to get those hoses made. If not, well, for now I'll just see if I get any bites on it without AC. We'll see. I don't know what the market is on these, but this thing drives shockingly good. I mean, I don't know if my expectations are just super low for an older car like this, but I'd go anywhere. A couple little weird things, you know, Edelbrocks don't like the hot start. They'll kind of boil they'll start boiling the gas when it's this hot out. I had that problem with my old small block Chevy swapped Jag XJS, and yeah, looks like the same thing here. But it does seem to run quite a bit better than it did with that 2-barrel. But you know, I'll leave all that stuff in the trunk for someone, because might as well. Speedometer is such a luxury. That is crazy. Well, the Cars and Coffee, or Cars and Cockpits as it's called, was a success, and this thing made it there and back without issue. And I've actually been driving a little bit. I've commuted to work a few times in this thing, much to the amusement of my coworkers.
It is a lot of car. I need to like throw 8 people in this thing and go get like ice cream or something, but what I need more is for it to sell. So this thing's for sale now. I did not end up getting the heater or the AC fixed. I wanted to at least hook up the heater core to figure out if it needs replacement or not, but I never got around to it, and I never got around to taking the hood off to get the lines remade. But as you saw earlier, once the lines are remade, the AC will work, which is pretty dang cool in a car like this. But you guys know its history better than anyone else. These videos are about as comprehensive of an ad as you can get. So if you're interested in a cool 4-door or crew cab classic to take the kids with you to car shows or something, I have one of those, and I promise I'll clean all the leaves off of it. My neighbor just has the worst trees. Thanks for watching.